In this video, I'm going to review the food that's included within your cruise fare on P&O Arcadia and let you know what I think are some of the best and the worst things are to eat on board the ship. The Belvedere is the ship's buffet and it is conveniently located on the Lido deck. There are several stations that are well laid out and there's also plenty of seating. And I'm going to start with the best meal of the day, and that's breakfast. And first of all, there's muffins, pastries and boxed cereals. Then there's seeds, raisins, granola, almond flakes, desiccated coconut, banana chips, alpen and loose cereals. And fresh fruit juices and fresh fruit are also available. And you can help yourself to yogurts, parfait and fruits in juice. And there's also a good selection of cold cuts of meat, sliced cheese and fresh fruit. And there's breakfast potatoes, kippers, ham and sausages. There's baked beans, tinned tomatoes, sausages, bacon and both scrambled and fried eggs. And with all this bread, I knew they wouldn't be running out of toast. And there was also some croissants too. There was also some fresh bread and a choice of rolls. And there's baked beans, mushrooms, tomatoes, pancakes and waffles. And there's a large area for you to get your drinks, including teas, coffees and fresh juices. And you can also get an omelette of your choice, freshly made to order. And for those of you who've seen my previous dining videos, you know I really do enjoy an omelette. And I'm going to be completely honest and say this was probably the best I've had on any P&O ship. And now it's time to take a look at the lunchtime and dinner offerings, which are broadly very similar. And firstly, there's going to be cold cuts of meat, filled sandwiches and cheese. And the second section past the fresh fruit is slightly less decimated. And here you'll find some more fresh fruit such as apples, oranges, plums and pears. And after that there are rolls, breads and butters. And then we come to the hot choices, including their very popular carving station. And there was lemon and tarragon smashed new potatoes, boiled vegetables and parsley sauce. And lamb stew, smoked paprika rice, beef brisket boulangerie and quiche. There's gravy, salad dressings and a variety of salads. There's pasta salad, potato salad, coleslaw, tomatoes, cucumber and lettuce. And now for some more hot items. There's boiled rice, Rogan Josh, kale, noodles and chips. There's more rice, chickpea curry, penny pasta and chickpea vegetable masala. And vegetable pasta, boiled vegetables and jagged potato. And there are plenty of things to try for those with a sweet tooth. I went with some cold cuts of meat, some blue cheese and some salad. Followed by a large spoonful of penny pasta and tomato sauce. While afternoon tea features plain and fruit scones and a selection of cookies. Along with a good selection of wraps and rolls. Which is what I went for and they were very nice too. Once the evening's entertainment is over, the buffet is still open for some late night snacks. Starting off with some fresh fruit and some rolls and butter. There are pre-made salads such as chickpea and onion, chipotle slaw and niçoise. Cucumber, tomatoes, lettuce and cheese. And for those of you who enjoy a nice late night curry, well there's plenty of choose from here. And you can also get chicken pieces and lasagna too. And finally there are some desserts and some fresh fruit salad. I went for a prawn cocktail filled roll, some fresh salad and some sliced cheese. and the prawn cocktail roll was actually spot on. And after that I went with some chicken curry and rice. The Meridian restaurant is Arcadia's main dining room and it's split over 2 levels on deck 2 and 3 at the rear of the ship. And it's open for breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea once a week, and of course dinner. So let's start with breakfast. And the cold items consist of fruit juice, yoghurt, cereals, fruit, items from the bakery and porridge. And there's also a full hot breakfast, a choice of eggs and tea and coffee. And I pretty much always go with the classic P&O breakfast, which is always a great way to start the day. And something I really enjoy doing on a sea day is going to the main dining room for lunch. And while there's an express lunch offered, it's not something that I go for as I've got absolutely nowhere else to be. And the menu consists of sandwiches, lighter options, small and large main meals, and of course desserts. And there's also some wine recommendations too. For my starter, I went with a butternut squash soup, which was absolutely packed full of croutons. And for my main course, I went with the Asian platter, which was onion bhajis, pakoras and vegetable samosas with a satay sauce. This dish was absolutely delicious and is also one of the benefits of sailing on a British cruise line, as there's usually far more opportunities to get Indian food. And for my dessert, I just went with a simple fruit salad. We had freedom dining on this cruise, which meant that we could eat whenever a table became available. I was given a pager which would buzz when the table became available, which didn't take too long. Although as we were seated towards the end of service, we were actually put on a table meant for 6. And the waiter quickly brought over the welcome aboard menus. Feel free to pause the video should you wish to study the menu further. There's also the wine list and the signature selection, which is an enhanced choice of starter, main or dessert that does incur an additional fee. And I did notice that the price of one of the bottles of wine had been hastily increased. And one thing I was really impressed with was the level of service. There were more than enough waiters and you didn't have to wait long for your food or a drink to arrive. For my starter, I went with the chicken balti samosas, which came with a spiced mango gel, kachamba salad and a tangy mango chutney. The samosas were nice and crunchy and it worked really well with all the mango. While my other half went for the pork and black pudding Scotch egg, which came with baby gem leaf and an English mustard aioli. And she said that she really enjoyed this. And for a main course, she went with a roasted prime rib of beef and Yorkshire pudding, which came with parmesan herb new potatoes, sticky braised red cabbage, green beans, and a rich red wine dew. While I went with a toad in the hole, which I'll be honest was a complete letdown. My first issue was it really wasn't a substantive amount of food for a main course. I really wouldn't call these sausages, these were more like chipolatas. And usually Lincolnshire sausages are nice and herby, but unfortunately these were bland and tasteless. For my dessert, I decided just to go for the fresh melon, while my other half went for the cheese plate, which had 4 types of cheese, biscuits, crackers, apple chutney and grapes. Celebration night on P&O ships is a bit of an institution. It gives guests on board the opportunity to dress up in their finest clothes. And this evening's event was going to be even more special as it coincided with the BAFTA Television Awards, which are sponsored by P&O Cruises. The menu for Celebration Night is curated by celebrity chef Marco Pierre White. This is usually the best food in the main dining room on the cruise. so I recommend avoiding specialty dining on this particular evening. And out first was the Strawberry Bloody Mary and Moose Bouche, which also came with a glass of fizz. This was a great way to start the meal. For my starter, I went with a mushroom and blue cheese cannelloni, which was hand-filled pasta with sautéed wild mushrooms, velouté and a tarragon crisp, which to be fair tasted much better than what it looked like. While my other half went for the chicken, smoked ham hock and apricot terrine, which came with some sauce vegetables and a really tangy mustard puree, followed by the curried corn-fed chicken Kiev, which came in a panko crumb along with sagaloo, mango chutney and a spiced butternut squash puree. She said that she really enjoyed this and there was a real depth of flavour to the meal. While I went with a pan-roasted prime beef fillet with tiger prawns in garlic butter, which came with fondant potato, Savoy cabbage, carrots, fine green beans and a glossy lobster butter jus. And while occasionally the food in the main dining rooms on P&O ships can be a bit of a letdown, I'll be honest in saying that this was one of the best steaks I've had on any main dining room on a ship. And for the first of our desserts was this absolutely delicious black cherry and roasted hazelnut dacquoise cake. While I finished my meal off with a cheese plate, which really was one large lump of cheese. Overall, I thought the food in the main dining room was pretty good, but there was definitely room for improvement. The Neptune pool is an ideal place to sit back and relax with a drink. And if you're hungry, you can get a quick bite to eat at the Neptune Grill. Here you'll find burgers, hot dogs, fried chicken and fries. And the service here is fast and efficient, so you won't be waiting too long. I firstly went with the cheeseburger, which was actually pretty good. I really liked how they added plenty of salad, followed by the hot dog with some caramelised onions. It's all pretty basic poolside food, but it does fill a hole if you're feeling a bit peckish. A room service continental breakfast is also included as part of your cruise fare. Just complete the form saying what items you'd like and at what time, and then just leave it outside your cabin before 10 PM. I ordered some fruit salad, some yogurt and orange and apple juice. Along with a couple of croissants and blueberry muffins too. And what better place to enjoy your breakfast than out on your balcony, especially on a sea day. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. I'll have many more cruise videos to come.